Hey, welcome back to Game Brigade. I am Bryan, and we're going to be talking about Unsettled, which is going to be a reprint effectively, but adding more content on Kickstarter. So if you are interested in learning more about this game, or kind of having questions whether or not you should be backing this game, or maybe you're uncertain whether or not this campaign is for you, this video should help you with that. First off, I also want to say thank you to my Patreon members for supporting the channel. I mentioned in one of my previous videos that we're going to be revamping my Patreon, so stay tuned for a video about that, as well as all the new subscribers to the channel. You should have your ticker down here saying thank you to all the subscribers joining the community, so thank you for that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and pull up Unsettled. I might be drinking my coffee for this video. I have been very busy and I'm trying to stay focused on task, and so I've got my iced coffee, which is officially ran out of ice, which is unfortunate, but I might be sucking on that through this episode. So today, Unsettled. This is 6 days left to go, so we're actually a little bit further along in the campaign, but we're doing very well. The campaign has reached 8,953 backers and over 1.2 million, and this is brought to you by Orange Nebula. Now, something I always try to talk about, sometimes I forget bringing it up, but I always want to make sure we're doing this, is whenever talking about a campaign, we're looking at backing something, we always want to check the publisher, see what they've done in the past, and see what other projects we've done. Now, we know that they've done Unsettled, the original one. They've also done several versions of Vindication. I have backed this version of Vindication. I went all in on that, and we still have yet to receive our product, but we have seen the Unsettled arriving to people within the last 6 months, I'd say. So we do know that at least they're delivering product, and this one, Unsettled, is covering basically an extension of the original game. So what is Unsettled? Because some people probably could look at this as many different things, but the best way I would look at this game as a cooperative puzzle experience, where you're going to be going to different planetoid experiences, learning the unique individual settings of that planet, dealing with whatever kind of problems that planet may present, either with like a toxic fauna or hallucinogens, whatever that planet's aura is, and you're going to try to survive long enough, completing specific objectives, and then everyone has to return back to your lander and escape the planet. So the original Kickstarter campaign for this one, I'm going to bring that up right here, featured 6 planets, and that was the all-in pledge. I don't know if you guys can see the all-in pledge. Yes, you can right there. So you can see they had these 6 planets, and this pledge was $134, and a majority of people did this one. 4,000 backers did that one. So we are going to be getting in this game that same 6 planets, but they're going to be adding an additional 3 more, but they're also doing a little bit more to add some variety to the game, which is pretty interesting. So let's kind of scroll on down here and take a look at the gameplay. So this game is going to be, if I were to explain this system, I think a perfect example would be a game like Final Girl that just went on Kickstarter, which was a modular based game where you have a core box, which is basically all of your components for the game. And then you have modular systems which you can plug and play whatever system you want to play at that given time to experience that story. Now, Final Girl was extremely modular. This one isn't as modular, but they are adding some more stuff to that to make it more modular. But you're going to be having each of these different planet boxes. And they have a challenge rating here to kind of talk about the challenging aspects of the game, but they also say it's not technically a difficulty rating. It's more of how do these planets bend the rules that they've established for the game. So generally each planet will have some sort of effect that is unique to that planet effectively. So as we're going through this, we also want to, eventually talk about, is this something we're going to want to back? Is this something that's going to be available later on? Because that was one of the aspects I had when I eventually looked for this game, was having a hard time finding it. So here they're going to talk about a lot of the different mechanics in the game, talking about the trust and dynamics between the characters as you perform actions, as you're playing the game. Because it's an action system based game, your actions could impact how people are responding to you and how their actions could then respond to you. And then you're also going to be having some effects that can, like some negative effects that can go on those action cards and basically limit the kind of actions you can take. The game does feature a lot of gamer trays inserts, so that's going to be part of the cost. And I think it's interesting they have this #1 game of 2021 for production value, and that's because they did put a lot of effort into making this game one of the highest quality games with black core cardboard, as well as these game insert trays here to basically make it plug and play. Everything is built inside the box, ready to go. It's hard to talk about here what games or which ones we want to talk about, because it's so expansive and different for each planet. But I think the best way to talk about it is just kind of looking at it more of like a financial aspect and be like, what is the best pledge for us? And then talking about, is the mechanics of a exploration puzzle game something you might be looking forward to. So that's the first thing I want to talk about, is the mechanics of the game. This is a puzzle game. There's not really a narrative story that you're going to be following, which is something I wish they had. I wish there was some sort of campaign or some sort of maybe even legacy components, because I feel like the game is like ripe for it. You have these explorers, these scientists, traversing space. I don't know why. I think it talks about them being pulled in through a black hole or something. I can't remember. But for some reason they're here and they're traveling these different planets. But there's not anything more than that. You just kind of pick up the planet you want to play at that time, and you experience its unique story. So if you're looking for a story-based reasoning to play this is not the game for you. But they do say that the thematic feel, the way that the environments and the way the planet responds to you and how your characters respond to the planet will make you feel like you are kind of living in that moment, I guess you would say. So let me take a sip of that coffee. So from there, then, we're going to have these planets. So let's talk about how the game works. Now, this is just a random planet. We've got Winora. It'll tell you that this is the fungal host planet. And you're going to have these different planet cards and locations. And these will tell you, you're going to basically lay out these cards as you're exploring, discovering new things, learning different potential discoveries or anomalies on those tiles. And the corners here where you would potentially lay out another card will dictate what kind of response or actions you might have to encounter when you go to the next section. For example, this looks like it takes 2 time to traverse, probably because the territory or the land you're moving along is supposed to represent difficult movement or maybe long movement. And so each planet will also have a bunch of different anomalies or things for you to experience as each player is going around. And the real focus of this game is learning how to cooperatively work as a team to do the objectives. Everyone's going to have to focus on a specific task, learning how to maybe specialize in a specific type of science for that mission, so that everyone can complete their objectives before you all have taken some sort of too many damages or whatever it might cause you to lose health or exertion, and then complete the game. So that is the core quick rundown of the game. And again, every planet has the same kind of thing where you have all the different planets with all the different types of features. So we're just going to scroll past these and kind of come on down to the new planets, because I think this might be something people are looking for. Again, similar idea, but what I like about some of these planets is a change from the norm. A lot of these other planets were kind of same in terms of like they were a system planet, but what I really like was this blackout one, where instead of playing against the system, you actually have your Luna, which is kind of like your ship AI, your helpful android moving along with you. She's actually going to be actively working against you, and I thought that was super interesting. So that's part of the new planets. That's Planet 8 is what they're calling it. And then we have another planet, Planet 9, which is an ice planet. the Explore Avatar Punch Pack. So we're going to get to some of the bonus items. I would say these are part of the Kickstarter items. They're free on Kickstarter. Now, they don't specifically say Kickstarter exclusive anywhere in this campaign that I was able to find. But I haven't seen this game at retail, so take that into consideration. But if you're backing these things, you get these free with Kickstarter. They are $3. I mean, they're very inexpensive afterwards. But these are just player packs to change the avatar that you can play with. I think these are nothing that I would be worried about picking up. Effectively, what these are is on your player board, and I don't know if I saw a player board relatively easy to find. Probably not. They just don't have it. Maybe up here. Okay, maybe right here. This is the best example I could probably find you. This is an example of your player board. Here are your actions up here, up these little dots, and this is your avatar, and here is that little circle with a player's head. That's what these are. They're basically just representing who you are. Oh, here's a better version of it. Here's the person's head representing who you are for your character, but really they are not that impactful. Doesn't change anything in the storyline. Sure, I can be a dog with sunglasses because that is as impactful as anything any other are, so, or this cat looks like I'm gonna play the cat every time, to be honest with you. So that's what these are. Very minimal impact, basically just giving you flavor at this point. We have these survival community packs. So these are going to be concepts designed by the campaign's community with some different final tasks that you can do. And they are going to be for the original 6 planets. So they are going to hopefully increase the difficulty or increase the replayability of the initial planets. So if you have already played the first 6, this is something that can provide more value to you by changing some of those final tasks. And then we have some more add-ons. Now, these are upgrade modules. And these are going to upgrade individual powers. So this is kind of those things I was talking about where they're trying to increase a little bit more of the modularity, where you're going to be able to slide this onto your player board and give you a little bit more stuff to play with. Again, these are also modular, so you don't have to play with all of them, or you can play with all of them basically as you choose. And they're calling these a $15 MSRP add-on for that. We have the Purple Rift. I have no clue what this is because obviously the Purple Rift opens on the 3rd and I'm filming this on the 1st. So we will have to wait and see what this bonus item is, but it's going to be part of that a value proposition that we're looking at in terms of what we're looking at in our total cost. And then we have some more upgrades. So this is going to be dual layer flashboard expansions and the fascinating markers. I wish some of this stuff would be like Kickstarter exclusive. This is only available. I hate it's a plus and minus. Sometimes I like Kickstarter exclusive stuff. Sometimes I don't, because I want to make sure if I'm buying this at retail that I can get anything I potentially missed. But sometimes you have to have that value proposition of why back now. And other than we're not going to go to retail, but they're not as clear with this on that. So let's talk about the pledge levels, and kind of this morally breaks down to why we're here, why are we watching this video, why are we looking at backing. So the Nebula Tier 1 coming in at $75 for no sleeves. Great price, especially when we're so easily blasted with $200 Kickstarters, like for a core game it seems like. Being able to get the 3 new planets plus all the upgrade packs plus some of the free add-ons for $75 is a great price. You could add that in as well for $90 if you want the sleeves. The sleeves, let's just talk about the sleeves right now. From everything I've been told, now I don't own Unsettled. I wish I had it the first Kickstarter. I wasn't able to get it, and I couldn't find it at retail after it shipped. But everyone I've talked to who's had the game said that the sleeves, in their opinion, were very unnecessary because there's not a ton of shuffling. But if you are wanting to sleeve your game, the planet tiles are in odd shape, and it might be difficult for you to find sleeves for this game. So I would never harp on someone who decided to purchase the sleeves to maximize their production, because it is a investment. The Constellation tier is kind of a throwback. If I were to come back here, to this Explore pledge at $90 as well. We kind of gave you 3 planets plus the core box is how I kind of reviewed it. So this one is going to give you the core box and only 2 planets, planets 1 and 2, as well as the free upgrade pack, coming in at $90. So a little less value than the first Kickstarter. So people who backed the initial Kickstarter are getting a little bit more rewarded for that loyalty for backing them when they're relatively a new company. So this one's not as good of a pledge, but you are getting these free add-ons that, you know, you could assume is some value. But again, we already know that they're rating these between $3 and $5. And I can't assess the value of what this purple rift is in terms of, is this worth $15? Is this worth $10? Really, it's hard to know. So here we are, $90, 2 planets. This could be a good starting point. Now, I don't necessarily like the Constellation. When we get to my final thoughts, we'll talk about it a little bit more. And then we have the Supernova. We have $210, no sleeves, $250 with sleeves, but that sleeves everything in the game. And this is basically for the person who missed out on the initial Kickstarter and wants to get it all. I mean, and it's all. So you have all 9 planets plus all the modulars plus these little stupid things down here and whatever the rift is going to be. Now, we're going to talk about this more. Let's talk about it now. I keep saying we're going to talk about this later. Let's stop skipping it. Let's get right to it. This game, my opinion, let's do this real quick. Let's make me big head. My opinion of Unsettled falls in the same opinion I had for Final Girl. There is a lot of content and replayability within even the first 6 planets. So when you're adding in an additional 3, when you're adding 9 planets, there is a lot of game here. And a majority of gamers, I suspect, won't get through all of it. So I would hesitate and only say pump the brakes. I, again, would never question anyone who wants to go on because I'm even considering it myself. But I would say pump the brakes a little bit and say, do I need all of it? I wish there was a pledge that was like the original 6. If I just wanted to get the original 6 and maybe a la carte things at $170, maybe I would do that. But it's either you get 2 with the Constellation pledge, which you can't see because I've got my big head up, or you get the Supernova tier, which is the all-in. And then you have to go a la carte after that, which the a la carte pricing, we can go back here, I believe they put it at $15 a planet. So you can see that right here. So they also aren't showing the a la carte pricing for box 1 and 2 because they're just assuming if you're going to do a la carte, you're going to be doing the Constellation pledge anyways. So they're basically saying, okay, so if you're going to do this, you're already going to most likely have planets 1 and 2, and you need the core box anyways, so you're going to be doing this. And so this is where I might say, if you truly wanted to customize the value of your game and say, okay, what sounds interesting, I would really take a deep dive through each of these different planets, read the descriptions, read kind of what the experience may be, and then potentially adding a la carte the ones that interest you. That could be the best way to get through this and getting content that might be actually played. Because like I said, there's a lot of game here. There's a lot of stuff to get through. And a majority of people only play a game about 2 to 5 times before they shelve it again and move on to the next. That's the problem with the cult of the new. So if you want to be able to get the best value, I think it might be getting that middle pledge and a la carting the ones that are most interesting to you for your group or your personal preference. So that's my take. But also, just know that, if you're buying these sleeves, you have to also pick up additional sleeves at $5 a pack. So that's kind of what I really want to talk about. We're going to... there's Alex or not Alex, that's Jesse and Shira. We're going to bring it back to me. So I think the best and the best value, or what am I trying to say? Slow down, Brian. Use your brain. I think the thing I want to try to express or say is that this game, it's a good game. Some of people's top 10 favorite game of 2021. Definitely hit a lot of lists. I'm excited to get the game. I missed it the first time. I don't want to miss it this time. I just want to make sure people are pumping the brakes and really evaluating what they're going to play and where that value may come from, and buying what you think you're going to use, because there's a lot of gameplay here. And when you think about the resale value, you probably have the best resale value at the first 6 or the final 9. When you piecemeal it together, you're probably going to hurt your potential value with selling this game. So you can consider that as well, because some people who are going to be rebuying this, most of the time they're completionists and they're going to want either one of it or all of it. So they're going to want the first 6 or the whole thing. So you can assess that. But if you're not a person who looks into potentially reselling their games, I would really highly consider only getting what you're going to play, which really interests you. So hopefully this video was helpful. It was hard to kind of go through this campaign because it's so straightforward. It's a puzzle game with modulars, and you can't really break down each individual planet as much because it's without playing it. It's all spoilery. So that's about it. Hopefully this, guys, was good for you. This was kind of a different video in terms of the breakdown series. I hope it was helpful. If it was, please leave a thumbs up and leave me a comment down below. You can criticize me. You can call me a sneakhead, whatever you want to do. But what I want to know is if the video was helpful for you or not. Thank you guys for your comments. Thank you for your thumbs up. And thank you for your subscriptions if you decide to join the community. This is Bryan from Game Brigade. I will talk to you all later.